So, I know you probably clicked on this title and it was like, what is this man on about? Do you know what? Fair enough, because I absolutely love music. Genuinely, I say this from the bottom of my heart. Music is part of my everyday life. I walk to music, I sing to music, and I sing in the shower. And a lot of people complain about it, I'm going to be honest with you, but, you know, I do that. And it is genuinely a fundamental part of my life, and I think it's beautiful. It's, you know, an art, it's a form of expressing yourself if you can play an instrument or sing or whatever, even if it's not very well like me. But there is something beautiful in it, and I feel like music is the biggest reason why people wear headphones, you know. I mean, maybe you get your occasional podcaster, but, you know, there's nothing like a bit of tunes in the morning to make you feel better. But I just really wanted to talk about this, like, one experience I had, which is really weird. Well, not weird. It was just genuine, really uplifting, and it made me think a lot about my use of my headphones, because it was a kind of thing where, like, if I go outside, then I bring my headphones, and that is something that translates a lot into, like, my running. I'm really big into sports, and, you know, if I want to go for a run, I really like just putting on my headphones and, you know, just syncing up with the drum beat, you know, and looking and focusing on the music and the path ahead of me and my steps and how it just all sort of works together, and you get this rhythm and flow, and it's brilliant. I love it. However, I always run alone, and one thing that changed is I signed up for Park Run, which is like this weekly event on a Saturday morning in England most of the time, where you run 5 kilometers at 9 a.m. with a bunch of other fitness freaks like myself. You know, because it was a run and it was something I'd always done, I brought my headphones, which is, you know, I think pretty normal. But it's a little bit of a weird setup, because in my town you have to walk to the start line, and then you sort of have to, like, squeeze by all of these, like, 5k professionals who are chomping at the bit like hungry dogs for their new PB. Massive respect to them, because some of them get under 15 minutes, and that's crazy. Yeah, so you squeeze past these absolute mass of people, and it's kind of weird because everyone, you know, it's a community event, everyone's being friendly with each other and all of that, and talking and chatting, and I went there alone, and I've got no one to talk to, and I feel like really, I don't know, separated, and just out of place, because there was no one my age there, and the only thing that I had to comfort me was my headphones. And so, you know, I start my music for the run, and then for those interested, it was a bit of Songs for the Deaf by the Queens of the Stone Age. Absolutely beautiful album. But about a minute in, you know, when all the people have been separated out by their self-set pace, I remember seeing this, like, absolutely massive bold guy, which I don't know why it's important that he's bold, but he was, and he was about 50. Well, I know later he was about 50, but I remember seeing him in the corner of my eye. You know, I'm a decently tall fella at 6 foot, right? This guy gave me a crick in my neck, when I had to look up to him, right? And that was okay. That was something new, something I'm not used to, that's for sure. And I remember loosely hearing, because I had, like, noise cancellation on. I remember loosely hearing him saying something about, like, the weight of my headphones, you know, how they'd slowed me down or something. And I just thought he was being rude, and I remember thinking in my mind and spotting this, like, streaks of grey in his beard and whatever, being like, well, shut up, mate, you're old, you don't understand me, I'm a youthful person, whatever. And I don't know why I thought that, and I'm glad I didn't say it, genuinely, because, I don't know, I think we joked about it, and we got to chatting, and it turns out we had similar goals, which was to get, you know, to 5k in under 30 minutes, and so we agreed to sort of support each other and push each other to reach that goal, and so, you know, we did just that. We matched speeds and ran on a little faster than comfortable conversation pace, and talked about genuinely all kinds of things. Joked about the marshals there and lead guiding the route, congratulating us personally, even though we had to artfully ignore the fact that they said well done to the tomato-faced joggers behind us as well. And we just encouraged each other to that finish line, even if, about one of his strides was equated to roughly around 2.5 of mine, because this guy was like 6'5" into the sky. And I remember distinctly that I think it was just the last straight before the finish line, and it's a sprint finish kind of thing, right? Because you want to make sure that you've put everything out. And I made these engine revving noises as I passed him, pretending I had a lot more energy than I did. I remember collapsing on this bench, not collapsing, but collapsing on this bench, so feeling a little bit nauseous and thinking about this, because we'd never exchanged names, and we just sort of patted each other on the back and went on our way. And even though this was like a really small experience for me, I feel it was really impactful, because had I kept wearing my headphones for that run, I knew that I would have completely missed this sort of valuable interaction. Now, again, don't get me wrong, I absolutely love my headphones and the bass that I can put through them. Oh, beautiful. However, I think, headphones and technology and AirPods and all of that, it's just sort of a tool that lets us isolate each other from those kind of interactions. And sure, it's by no means as engaging all the time as like a good Dave Grohl drum beat. But when we use headphones as a tool to isolate ourselves from the rich world around us, like the strange that I experienced on my run, I feel like there's a great power that we're missing out on in the sort of raw, genuine and supported interaction that I had that day. And thinking about it wider is not only uplifting in the sense of receiving that kind of interaction and conversation and all of that, but also seeing something remarkable or sort of noticeable about someone that you want to start a conversation with them. The kind of switch in perspective that you need to have to be able to see that and then have the confidence to go and have a chat about it, And so these repeated community events like a park run, where it's hundreds of people, I think it was 150 that day, these community events, where everyone just gets together, has, I think, an innate kind of beauty about it. And sort of where, in a grown-up world where making friends is hard, going to the same place at the same time every week and just running with strangers and having a chat is a fabulous opportunity to sort of take advantage of, that rich world around us. Headphones, for me, are a limiting tool for that, and I know I won't be wearing them again for these runs. Something I've changed past this experience is sort of trying to make that change in my perspective, because I'm generally sort of a natural introvert, and finding the energy to find that remarkable thing in someone and complimenting on them on it or chatting to them is a difficult thing to do sometimes. I'm a firm believer that people are only as receptive to you as the effort that you kind of put in, and so the genuine interest in how their day was and what they are up to make all the difference in your words, rather than just sort of uncaringly asking them the most commonly asked question in their lives as a kind of social convention, if you like. And headphones generally project this persona of uncaring isolation, and just oh, don't talk to me, or they have to repeat what you're asking them twice, because then the first time they're wearing their headphones, and the second time they've got to take them off, and the third time they're loading up their answer. It's a bit weird. And while the music itself might be great, I mean, I can guarantee you the magic of music doesn't compare to sort of the magic of the interaction that you can have with that. Because again, complete stranger, never seen him again, and it was genuinely really supportive, really uplifting. I mean, I know that like what I'm talking about now might seem a little bit like rare and idealistic, and you know, to really be put into practice, but I think really all it needs is a change in perspective, and that's what I'm trying to do. Just sort of trying to say good morning to the first 3 people that you cross on your walk to work, or yeah, and trying to start to see this switch that people aren't actually like, you know, these weird characters moving around, these NPCs, but can respond and sort of have this normal conversation. And while sort of it might seem a bit scary and all of that, when you remember that if you mess up, you know, you will never see that person again, you can kind of take comfort in that fact and just try changing perspective for a few days. So I guess this is my message to you, that if you change your perspective and stop wearing headphones, talk to people and try, you won't regret it.